You nervous?
Kind of. Never really talked to a camera. I guess it is kind of just like talking, but
This is cool. I like that. It's nice.
the setup.
Yeah, the setup looks good. Oh shit, we can't see this one.
You might want to back up just a hair because the camera might want to grab you in a little bit.
That's okay. It looks good to me. I'm cool with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Right.
And that one looks good up there.
Kind of sunken in. Maybe I should come forward a little bit. Nope.
Get comfortable.
Definitely.
I don't care what
sit
it looks
back.
like.
Okay.
You should be comfortable.
All right. I'm comfortable.
Do you want something for your back?
No. Back is just fine.
Okay.
It does better arched.
Okay.
Because I've arched it.
Okay, cool.
Over the years, so.
Okay. All right. Well, this is Hayden here. This is Brandon. We're making
Hello.
a video together. Brandon is a work
Buddy, I guess.
work buddy. Yeah, work buddy.
/ camera.
Camera guy. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got this really nice camera. So if you guys can tell the image quality's better, that's because it is. Because this camera is worth thousands more dollars than mine. Because mine's not even worth $1,000. So we're just gonna talk about stuff, and this is, I guess, my first in-person interview / interaction. So, yay vaccines and yay like work buddies, I guess. Since if you had COVID, I probably would have already gotten it. So, so mostly what I talk about on my channel, as you guys know, is like mental health and spirituality. So, Brandon is Christian, so if he's willing to talk about Christianity and sort of what it means to him and sort of what his experience has been, he actually grew up as a pastor's son, so that's a pretty intense Christian and spiritual experience, I guess. So I'm sure he has some things to say about it.
So yeah, like he said, I was raised Christian, and my dad is a pastor. And some things that we believe in. I worship on the seventh day, which is Saturday. And well, that is the seventh day for us. There is the seventh day, which was changed for others, and that's what you kind of have now, which is Sunday. So you have your Sunday worshipers, I guess you could call them. I'm not really sure what the correct term is to use for them, but and that's their belief. But they worship on Sunday. And so they deem that as the seventh day of the week versus Monday being the first. So they get that full cycle of 7 days. But anyways, in the Bible it says that, Jesus rested on the seventh day, and then he was risen on Sunday. It doesn't literally, I don't think it literally says Sunday. I could be wrong with that. But yeah, so it's been changed since then by the Catholics, and you can look back in the records and stuff like that and see that. But yeah, I was raised PK, which is pastor's kid, and pretty much growing up like that, I've become curious about certain things. So I've dabbled in this and that, not anything crazy, but just wanted to see what it's like. And
Were there any things that like you didn't do when you were younger that you wish you could have, or?
There was music, was one of the big things. We had listened to, we have this conference that we went to, and we would listen to them, and while we were there for that time, and basically he was running through how music affects you and that kind of thing. And music does affect us a great ton.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've had friends who have, at the school that I went to up in Canada, who have literally gone into dental procedures without any numbing because he really wanted to sing later on that day. And the numbing would have caused him not to be able to, so he's gone into the procedure. And I forget, it was like either getting a tooth pulled or something. I forget what it was, but it was quite intense. Maybe it was a root canal. But he just listened to music, blasted music in his ears, and went through the whole procedure, just gripping the, and listening to music. So
yeah, it helped him probably get through the experience.
It did.
Right.
It numbed some of the things around him. That way he was, and then there was also the school that I went to was Christian as well. So there was also some help from God in that situation to help him get through it. But yeah, so music is lost my thought here for a
That's
second.
okay.
But yeah,
I have another question for you anyway.
okay, go ahead.
So, like, how has like Christianity like impacted you? Like, what's like your kind of relationship with Christianity, and like, what is like your faith? Like, what's your connection with God? Or might be personal, but
yeah, no, my connection with God right now, I believe that there is a God. I understand that He's there. I understand that there is going to be a second coming, as I've was raised and told, and also read for myself. But no, I do believe there is a God. As of right now, I'm kind of, I mean, like I said, I do believe in Him. But I'm kind of trying to do it my way, try to grasp it from my side, instead of, it's not that I was forced to hear all the stuff growing up.
Right,
it was,
but you grew up with it. So.
Yeah, I grew up with it, and it was there, heard it a lot, so...
You're trying to understand it from your own fresh perspective, most likely.
Yeah, and so that's, and it may look, like I'm kind of being a rebel, but I'm not trying to be. It's just that's something I've wanted to do and do for myself. That way I want it because I want it, instead of have it because I have it and was raised upon.
I think that's like a normal human experience, though. Like, if you've grown up with a certain way of existing, a certain way of knowing things, like at some point you have to decide for yourself what you deem as like real for you, because like, if that's part of becoming an adult, is I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not like believing the stories that were told to me per se. I'm not like identifying with those just because they've been told to me, but like, how am I really, and what do I actually believe? Which, what you've been told, and when you're a child, may still be what's true for you, but you might come around and be like, oh, this is a conscious, intentional choice that I'm making. Yeah, and that's part of becoming an adult.
It is. And also, when I was raised, I mean, going to church was something that we do. It was something that... it was something you do out of respect for God, and also for yourself, because, I mean, it's a day set aside for us to rest and also to worship on, and to think back on our week and see what we could improve, and that kind of stuff. And there's stuff that we would do throughout the week, and it could be termed as sinning, but we don't really focus on that. We focus on how we can improve ourselves in that area and go that route, instead of being condemned for sinning and having to go and confess and all that kind of stuff. So it's a day to kind of recoup, and to also just give thanks to God for His help throughout the week, and then also just to learn more about Him in general, which is always good. And I'm glad I'm a pastor's kid. Growing up, I'm glad I was able to have that kind of thing. There's families out there and people that haven't had that being raised, and so when they go searching for it, they don't know which one to choose to go for. And so I find that sad in some situations, just because my understanding of religion, I believe to be true, and then there's other religions out there, and they understand their religion to be true, and so it's for me, I wish they would see it as I see it, or not totally as I see it, but as I see religion versus what others have, and but that's just me, and I'm not going to force it upon them to do that. But that's
yeah, I think at some fundamental level, we kind of wish everybody would see the world from like our own perspectives.
No, definitely,
because like, even though like I'm pretty easygoing with like my spirituality, and like I'm not like ever trying to enforce it on anybody, like part of me, like, you want that validation of like, oh, like, you, at least from my perspective, like, I want people to like sort of resonate with what I have to say, or like, not necessarily believe in me, but like we have that connection and understanding. It's like, okay, this is like what we both agree on, when there's that disagreement, it's like, what the heck,
It's like working with the people I work with at work. I mean, I'm in doors and windows over there at Home Depot, and working with customers, I don't understand that come in with attitudes, and I'm trying to understand. I'm someone who reads somebody to understand how to work with them. And if I read that they're a very soft-hearted, kind person, I will generally match with them or go a little bit further,
Right.
to try to just help cheer up their day as well, because they could be having a bad day as well.
Right.
But then there's those ones who come in, and I'm sure they were, if they were raised a specific way, and or they just had a bad upbringing, and they're generally just not in a happy mood spirit, and they come in, and for me it's the hardest thing ever is to work with them and to understand where they're coming from. And so when working with them, like I've totally have changed how I go about saying things. I feel as if it's very unright to be mean towards other people and expect things from them, so I won't actually go the extra mile for them. And that sounds bad, but for me, I've seen it and it's changed the way they've talked, at least for a good few of them. There's still the ones that will just stick through it throughout the whole entire time.
Like, so meaning like the ones that like aren't being kind to you,
Yeah.
like you won't like go above and beyond for them, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to get to that, but yeah.
Gotcha.
No. And I mean, usually at the end, once they've changed, once they understand that it's not I'm going to, I'm trying to be mean to them anyways. I'm just not going the extra mile as far as, I'm talking to them as if they're a kid, basically, in adult terms. Not talking to them as like if I was talking down to them, but I'm talking to them as like I'm saying this, and I'm kind of going the extra.
You simplify
it for them. Even though it does sound like it's as simplified as for a kid, but it's simplified that way, and that's so that they understand where I'm coming from, when I'm talking about what it is about their order that we're trying to fix.
Right. So you don't want to use.
Why?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. But yeah, no. I just I'm trying to explain to them so that for some reason I've noticed it, when I say something, everybody takes it as like, oh, he's trying to add more money, add more this, and so I have to pay more.
Right. I've experienced that too.
And so, that being the case, you've got to break it down for them like you would normally do it with someone, but you break it down extra because you already sense that.
I got you.
That attitude in there.
Yeah, you have to explain the details more.
Yeah, and then I do adjust my voice. I've been told I sound like a girl sometimes when I adjust my voice, and like I worked at Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru, and oh my goodness, I was like, I've been told, yes ma'am, thank you,
really?
ma'am, yes.
Oh wow.
Through it, and so that's being on the headset.
Yeah.
So I do adjust my voice because I go in a higher pitch in some areas, and others I'm in lower. But yeah. No. So for people like that, what I worked with, I've done that to kind of bring them to where I'm at, but I do read people, and it's something that affects me if I'm not able to kind of grasp everything. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but I mean, I was raised Christian, like we were talking about, and if you ever get a chance to read into the different beliefs out there, it's definitely worth doing. On your terms, obviously, but yeah. So
yeah, definitely.
Not sure how religion, if you were raised or had any form of religion that you went through, or
I never had any like official, like this is religion. It was like my dad like is kind of spiritual, and my mom is like not spiritual at all. Like she doesn't even think about. She's like, you die, you're in the ground, like you're just dirt. You turn into the trees. But my dad is more about like. He never like pushed it on me, but like we went to Christian church I think a couple times when I was a kid, but it was never like a regular thing. My dad practiced Sufism, I'm pretty sure, which is like a mystic version of Islam.
Okay.
For a little bit, but he doesn't like identify with a specific religion. He's like more interested in like the process of being human.
Okay.
So like just like the trials and tribulations and sort of like how that develops your character and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've kind of like developed my own spirituality based off the different traditions that I've read, and I've read some some of the Bible, and I've read the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao, some Buddhism, some Native American spirituality, and so like I kind of take pieces and parts of those different traditions, and I basically sort of get an understanding for what this existence means for me, I guess.
And so does he believe in reincarnation or anything like that, or?
He doesn't really have like strong beliefs of like I don't think he would say I believe in reincarnation.
Okay.
He would say like there's like he would understand why that would be a thing, why
Yeah.
that would be possible.
Okay, gotcha.
But he
gotcha.
wouldn't identify specifically with that. I would say I do believe in reincarnation, but not in the sense that like you get reborn as like a human every time, or like even in this specific world every time. Like I think there's different dimensions, different realities, different planes of existence. Like even in this world, you have the ocean, you have very small microscopic worlds,
Yeah.
and you have even
Here's
worlds like
Just-
that we can't even see. We're starting to see different worlds with science and stuff. There's different vibrations and frequencies that we can't feel with our body, that like we can sense with technology, with
Yeah,
the
no,
sciences
definitely.
and
Well, not under, but in our religion, we believe that there is, there is 20. How should I say this? There's 24 other worlds
Okay.
out there. In the Bible, it talks about the 24 leaders and I think it's 24 leaders. I think of each world, or I forget how it's termed in there,
Gotcha.
but basically, it does tell us that there is other worlds. Now, watching movies and stuff like that, you hear of aliens and stuff like that. Now, I don't believe movies' version of aliens to be fully legit. Like,
Right.
for instance, werewolves and stuff like that. That's kind of far out. I mean, you can kind of
Right.
understand how that's could be possible, but it's just far out there, right?
Right.
But there is a form of an alien, and they're of a different light form. That's why they're called alien to us.
Right.
That's why we believe in that
Right.
kind of thing. That term, I guess you could say. But they're not alien to what they're portrayed through us through movies. But yeah,
Right.
we do believe that there is other worlds out there.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to think about. I mean, it's very, very hard to think about. And there's another thing that's really hard to think about. I could, share later, but no, it's definitely hard to think upon. But if you read, through the Bible, you can see, and there's some areas. My dad has a Bible study on it, and it's really cool just to listen to. But yeah.
Nice.
So
Cool.
that one thing I was talking about, that's very, very hard to understand is, so we believe that there is a second coming, and when that time comes, we'll be taken to heaven, and then we're there for 1,000 years, right? And so 1,000 years up in heaven is a day equals a year. So down here, a year is a year, and that's, our days are very small. But each day up there is considered a year down here. And so, that being the case, we're up there for 1,000 years, and then he will by then bring the new earth. He's going to be creating a new earth, meaning that there's a place called hell. Hell is not actually a place you go to in our religion. It's we're actually already there. It's just at that point in time, that's literally the term that we've used, and that's kind of a good term in a sense to use to kind of grasp what it's going to be like. It is in some areas far-fetched, but anyways, that place is going to be here. But during that time, there is the 1,000 years in hell, which is here on Earth, and it's not gonna be fun for those and that kind of thing. And so I don't want to expound too far on that. It's very in depth to try to do that, and it could offend some people on how it would be worded. But anyways, he'll bring the new Earth down, and we'll come down with it. And anyways, after that. So right now we have the second coming, something we're looking forward to, right? For our religion. Then we have that time period up in heaven, which means there's another time period which there's something we're going to be looking forward to. All right. but that's where the Bible ends as far as what's going to be happening next. And so to think about it, if you're, either resurrected or you're alive when Jesus comes again and you're taken to heaven and then you come down, where are we going? Do we live forever after that, which is what I'm told, which I've read in the Bible as well. And so to think on that, you live forever, there's no end at all. Just to think about it scares me, and I'm not really sure how to understand it. And I've been told that, it's not, try not to ponder on it, but it's kind of hard not to. But anyway, so that's what I was saying about that situation where, that's kind of scary for me to think about. But the more you get into it and the more you think about it, you can definitely give yourself the chills and start to rethink everything. But not rethink it in the way of you don't believe that there's still a God or anything like that. No, I definitely do. But yeah, no. So that's what I meant by that. But that was just a little side thing there.
Okay, no, it's interesting for sure.
Um,
I've got 3 big questions for you.
Okay.
Because I think people will be interested, and I think it's an important thing to talk about. First one is, well, I'll start with this one because I think the last 2 will be better to end on. How has spirituality helped you in your life?
How has it helped me? It's definitely helped me to be kind. I've noticed. There's a lot of worldly things that if I wasn't raised in the way that I was, being, and being Christian and that kind of thing, I would probably not be the same person as I am now. I'm not sure what I would be, but I mean, sure, there is a line outside of religion that you can follow that kind of gets you to be a kind person, but there's things that I would probably never do if I were not a Christian, if I didn't grow up a Christian. So there's things like, well, I really don't know of any examples right off the top of my head. But anyways, so that's one way it's helped me. Another way is to, I want to say it's given me a purpose in life, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of helps me to keep me in a line to go somewhere, that I'm actually going somewhere versus not. Like for instance, like I'm working on starting up my own YouTube channel, and I'm not sure of what I'm wanting to do yet, but that's also something that I'm trying to work towards. So basically, being that I've had this religion since the start, kind of going off track here, but being that I've had that, it's helped me to keep on course and go that way. And so working on that as far as camera goes, and it's it's quite difficult at the beginning, but anyways, so those are 2 ways. I can't really think of any others, but
okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, because for me, spirituality's helped me a lot. That's basically a lot of who I am is my spirituality, and sort of what keeps me going, because I'm someone who asks a lot of really deep questions, and I'm always wondering things what if this, what if that, and I really try to understand people and why they do things, sort of like what you're saying with reading body language. That's something that I feel I pick up on pretty quickly with people, and I just try to understand what's going on. I get overwhelmed sometimes at work though, and there's a lot of negative energy. Like you said, it's just okay, let's break it down. But I do get kind of flustered with that. But yeah, spirituality is a big part, so that's why I ask.
And I'm not sure if you've seen it for yourself as well, but you can tell those who haven't been really raised with with believing in any spiritual type stuff, so any religion, and those who have, you can see the difference between the two as far as it goes for. They kind of go a little further as far as being kind towards other people and doing stuff, because they kind of have an understanding of. I really don't know how to put it. it's hard for my brain to figure that out. But anyways,
I don't know if I
I'm not
can
sure if you
agree or disagree with that because
Okay.
I don't have like enough information because it's kind of a general statement. So
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like I'd have to do like a study of like, all right, these people have like a spiritual background, and then these people like don't have a spiritual background or don't like believe in a specific religion, and then weigh the odds because my mom is like not spiritual at all. And she's like really a kind person, I would say. Well,
well,
she can be
that's-
judgmental sometimes. But
no. And everybody's judgmental.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just our nature. There's no way of getting around it. There's some that are less than others, but we
Yeah.
all have it.
Yeah.
You're judging someone walking outside with this corona going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there.
But
it's up to you. Oh, go ahead.
But I agree with like spirituality. Like it's one structure that allows for development and growth, and like as far as developing morals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's one way to do it, but I don't think it's, in my opinion, this is just me, I don't think it's the only way, because I know quite a few non-spiritual people, quote unquote, who like are great people.
Yeah. No, and you just said it there. The morals that it gives you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has to do with a lot of how our body language comes off to other people.
Mm-hmm.
You could be raised a certain way and not. I mean, for you have a little bit of a taste of what spirituality is,
Mm-hmm.
and you can, like you just said, you can see the morals coming from it,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I'm probably trying to get at there as
Mm-hmm.
far as it goes, where you can kind of tell the difference between the two. Not that someone's less kind than another person, but you
Right.
can see a difference between the way they go about doing it versus the other. I don't know. That's what I've seen from me. I could be
Right.
totally wrong. My brain
Well,
has done strange things before.
well, no, but
Think about
that's
a lot of
what,
strange things.
no, it's simple. That's if that's what you see,
Yeah.
that's what you see. I mean, my world, I see something different, but who's to say that my worldview is,
Same
correct
for
or
me.
not?
Yeah, same for me. So,
Exactly. So,
I believe myself it is the way I believe is correct, but
right.
that doesn't mean yours isn't.
Right.
And so no.
Yeah, we're probably both wrong.
Probably, yep.
But the next question that I have, if you don't mind, I don't
go
want
ahead.
to keep bombarding you with questions, but have you been judged before or sort of scrutinized for being Christian?
No, I haven't really been put in a situation to. I have listened to my dad talk to Jehovah's Witnesses,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure if any of you guys out there have had any interactions with Jehovah's Witnesses, but they like to say stuff as far as that they're the correct people. Their religion's the correct way of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and some of it is that they talk about, but there is also stuff that they believe in that is, for us as under my religion, that is incorrect.
Mm.
And so kind of lost my train of thought. Just bring me back in here real quick. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question was, have you been judged?
That's right. So watching my dad, Jehovah's Witnesses I've seen judge the religion that we have here.
Yeah, hold that.
And so trying to
You got
regain my thought
You
here.
can do it. Being judged.
Being judged. So I've seen my dad talking to Jehovah's Witnesses, and they tend to judge him a lot and judge our religion. And I've just watched how my dad has taken what they have said and basically turned it around and showed them, to the point where they themselves, no matter whether you're religious or not, you have this kind of attribute in you, and that is, you have made a line that if you cross, you're not correct. You're not telling the truth, basically, anymore. And so I've seen for these Jehovah's Witnesses, and talking to my dad, that's the case where they've crossed that line and aren't able to come back from it.
What would be an
But
example of a line?
As far as like truth goes, as far as Bible goes, Jehovah's Witnesses.
I can hold it if you
Oh
want.
no, I was just holding it for the rest.
Okay.
But anyways, Jehovah's Witnesses have their religion that they believe in, right? And then there's the Bible, and they have parts of the Bible that they use in their religion, and they use that to, both religion does, but they use it to kind of have a point basis to talk on because everybody knows of the Bible, or at least a lot of people have heard of the Bible or have read it.
Right.
And so you can just see as far as it goes.
Oh. It stops at 30 minutes usually.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they have. See, I'm trying to pull back in here. So, anyways, they use the Bible to help explain their religion, and so being that when my dad's explaining our religion to them and his thoughts on the Bible, there is certain things that they have said which have, I don't have any specifics because I can't think of any on the top of my head, but that it's the same topic, the same area of the Bible, but they have taken it and they've warped that, basically that saying, to kind of bend to their will. When they know for a fact that that's not the case. And so that's what I mean by kind of jumping that line. So Jehovah's Witnesses have judged my dad. I personally, though, have not been judged. I've never been in a situation to, not that I know of. It's possible that I've been judged, and that's just because I believe in this and they don't. But I honestly don't know about those situations if they have happened. They've been probably silent about it. But I know my dad has been judged.
Yeah.
Many times.
Been by other Christians mostly, or by
other Christians? Yes. There was this one incident where I had some people who used to be friends of mine who believed in going to church on Saturday, which is the day we go. We call our religion is called Seventh-day Adventist, and so I'm not sure if they're raised on it or not, but that's what they believed in at the time. But I've seen them go from that to believing in what Jehovah's Witnesses say and become Jehovah's Witnesses themselves. So I'm pretty sure my dad was judged by, or they were judged by them, basically, big time, because he did talk with them a lot on certain things, certain topics. So I'm pretty sure that was one of the situations. There's plenty of others because he has done a lot of Bible studies in his time. So, yeah.
Nice. What was my last question? Oh yeah, so do you feel like you are comfortable like talking about other people's like worldviews and stuff like that?
I do. There's some that I don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable. It's just because I don't know them or know anything about them. I've not really been big on studying into other religions as much. I've just heard things over the years and kind of figured out what I understand to their religion to be, and just witnessed it myself. There's some that I have kind of feel awkward, not awkward, yeah, I kind of feel off when hearing it, because for me, in my mind, the way I was raised, I've kind of have a guideline that when it's crossed, I feel it's far-fetched. That's a horrible way of explaining what I'm trying to say, but and so other religions have those areas where they have to do this, they have to do that, in order for them. For instance, one of them, it's not very big as far as feeling awkward, but one of them is Catholics. They go to mass, or they have to confess their sins and stuff like that. I've heard that, but it still feels awkward to me growing up. But that's kind of an example.
What about like other religions outside of Christianity? Like, do you feel comfortable like sharing your ideas and having them share their ideas too?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy for someone to share their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I do get uncomfortable with ideas as far as like reincarnation,
Mm.
something I can't grasp.
Mm.
I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't grasp it, I kind of don't know where to go with it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess that's why it feels awkward to me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, listening to other people's views and stuff like that is definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to be able to talk with someone about it and try to converse it, I feel very out of place
Yeah.
trying to do that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but no, listening to other people's views on stuff is interesting. It gives
Mm-hmm.
you a better mindset of, not that you're a better person, but um, kind of shows you if you believe in something, it kind of reassures you, that kind of thing. And it's everybody is right to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not right to you, or they're not right to us. That kind of type things. You
Right.
know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to force anything upon anything, but it's just I have a hard way of explaining things, but
No, it
I don't
makes
want to
sense.
come off
Yeah, no,
as
it made sense.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um. Well, I think we'll probably wrap it up soon, but I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, or any words of wisdom
any words of wisdom
from the Christian faith, or
from
from
the Christian
just
faith?
from your background for what you've experienced in your spiritual journey, or what would you?
I would say definitely if you get a chance, read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
on different things, and it's not that you have to believe what the Bible says,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives you an understanding of where we come from if you haven't had any background as far as religion goes. So definitely give that a shot. Also, another book that I've seen is very interesting. It's called The Great Controversy.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool about that one, and this is kind of a different topic, but it's just really cool. And that is, it talks about, like the end time events basically. And it was written by a lady. Now, this lady was uh, she had visions growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and she feels that they were from God, and I do too, because a lot of the situations that she was just that were described from books and stuff like that I've heard of her, and also just history
Mm-hmm.
about her. I feel as if it's too far on the good side for the devil to be at play there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, that being the case, I've kind of taken it for myself that this lady was actually talking about the truth. And the cool thing about it is that you can actually read the book and see for yourself things that are happening now,
Mm-hmm.
as far as government goes, or, for instance, the Twin Towers.
Mm-hmm.
She has in there stuff that's talked about the Twin Towers falling.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly like on point towards it, but talked about some kind of event that was large, and
Mm-hmm.
and then you can see other things, and they're just corresponding with things that are happening now. If
Mm-hmm.
you were to match them with our current government, and that you could see for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just our opinion, and that's what if you were to read the book, you could see it for yourself. Not trying to say everybody should read that, and that um, I believe it to be correct, but that's for you to discern, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How would you discern like something that comes from God and something that comes from the devil? Because there's lots of people who have visions and write about it.
yeah. So, um, if you read the Bible, and how would I put this? There are certain things that God won't do,
Mm-hmm.
um, and those things are shown throughout the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And just being raised in that area also gives me, the more I've talked about it and discussed it, the stronger and better I've gotten at picking out what is good and what is not. The devil will do things, and he can't do certain stuff, because it's against who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so he uses like Bible verses that I used in the past. But anything that it's hard for me to describe, but there's just stuff that God won't do, and say this individual had a vision or some kind of sort, right? And they're describing it. You can kind of see where they've kind of gone off on some areas of that, basically that when they're describing the vision to us.
So you would base it, you cross compare it with the Bible then?
Cross compare it with the Bible, because if God is the one who's giving you that vision, it's not that he's really giving you a sign that it is from him, because that's for you to figure out for yourself. But there's things he will not do that the devil will do to get you to believe in him, and so like to know who it is. Yeah.
So like a vision of like a past life or a vision of like a future life would be something that the devil would give someone.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but yes, that's one of them. The devil will use pretty much anything he can, and there is a line that he has to draw for himself that he can't touch, and the devil was Lucifer in heaven. He was one of the fallen angels,
right.
And he was actually one of the top guys. He was up there next to Jesus, and he was like, I forget what he was basically, Jesus created him, and he was much more beautiful than others. But what had happened is he took that the wrong way, and being that God gave us free will, yes, being that you're in an environment where everybody is this, so it's kind of hard to grasp how that is the case. It wasn't God's choice for Lucifer to be who he is now, but that's who he's ended up being. And so anyways, when it all went down, he was kicked out of heaven, and when that took place, there's stuff that the devil can't say, because he knows it to be true, I believe, but he knows if he says it or goes about using it in some way, he'll look as if he's a coward, and that's not something he wants to be dealt as. He wants to be looked upon as he's powerful, and that he's up there where Jesus is. And so he uses different ways and warps those ideas, so that he can bring people towards him. So he's given, for instance, like a Ouija board, for instance. You can communicate with the dead. That's really far out there, for me. That is. I don't know for anybody else, but that's something, if you die, you die. And when the second coming comes, you'll be raised back to life. And so, for me, a Ouija board communicating with the dead, you're not actually communicating with the dead. You're communicating with a fallen angel who is able to replicate the person that you're like a loved one or someone like that. So so it's hard to say and fully describe to you guys, but there is a line that you can kind of draw, and if this vision has crossed that area, you can figure out for yourself where this kind of came from, where it's lacking. So
yeah, that's cool.
So that's what I believe as far as that goes.
Okay. Yeah, my take on it would definitely be very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I do card readings, and I know people who are mediums who can communicate with people who have passed and stuff. And that's fine. That's
definitely
what you believe.
That's what I believe, and that's what you believe. So it's I'm not judging you any certain way at all. And that's a hard thing for me to actually fully talk about some things. Like earlier when I was talking about one thing, was because it can offend people. No matter whether they say they're fine or not. It can offend them because It's just there.
Right. Well,
And
because a lot of people hold it very dear to their heart. Like
Mhm.
spiritual, it's pretty personal, and so it's like it can feel like a personal attack. Like I don't feel attacked. I usually feel, for me, I usually feel like, especially when talking with someone who's Christian, I feel nervous talking about like my beliefs because I know they're going to be judged. You know, for the most part, not always, but like they'll be judged.
So, to be fully honest, I'm not going to outly judge you at all.
Right.
But for everybody,
There's
you're
always
gonna judge it for yourself as it's
right.
going in your ears. All right.
Right.
So, I could be saying stuff, and not that you are gonna verbally or anything like that say, "Hey, this is you're wrong in that area." But going
Right.
into your mind, you're gonna red flag
Right.
certain
For
things,
me,
right?
yeah, I'm like, yeah, for me that's not true. Like I'm not going to say like, "Oh, Brandon, you're wrong," cuz I like my opinion is that like nobody knows the absolute truth. Like for
Exactly.
me to say that I know what God's plan is and I know what like everything in the universe is like completely insane. Like
It is, no, definitely it is. We can't even say that for ourselves.
right.
We have what has been given to us, and we have taken it and tried to understand it purely as possible. And then again, saying purely is very, how should I put this? It's
Right, you're trying to find the message that is true to what was written.
yes.
Right.
And so I've lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I do
I
this
think I know what
often.
train you're basically going to say that like you're trying to follow it as purely as possible, but even then it's limited to what like the full plan of what God it
Because,
has.
yeah, we're not pure.
Right.
There's no way we're pure. We sin all the time. No matter who you are, we do it. It's something that it's a nature we've done, and the reason for that is because we came from Adam and Eve. You probably don't believe that, but
Right.
I personally do.
Right.
God created the heavens and the earth,
Mhm.
and earth is what we're on. And then he also created two beings. The first two, they lived in the Garden of Eden, um, and they were given free will. Everybody is,
Right.
um, and so that being the case, they were in this beautiful garden where they were raised. They didn't have to wear what we term as clothes.
Mhm.
They had a certain light form that was given to them. It was so that it was portrayed to any eye as clothing in a sense, but it's not really clothing. And so they didn't need clothes. But there was this one time where they ate. So God forbade this
Tree of knowledge.
tree of knowledge,
Right.
or tree of good and evil.
Good and evil, yeah.
And that good and evil tree has been inhabited by Satan,
Mhm.
by the fallen angel,
Okay.
Lucifer. And so
You would have thought he would have kept the tree away from them though, you know.
you would
put a
think
fence
so,
put a
but
fence around it.
but that wouldn't give them free will.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
That would be saying, hey, don't do. That'd be saying, hey, you can't do this.
But it's also like if you tell a kid like, "Hey, don't go eat those like mushrooms over there."
But that's knowledge you've given to them for them to discern of themselves. They have to choose it for themselves.
But if you tell a kid that, they're going to go eat it.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
because for one, they have free will,
Mhm.
and they have chose for themselves that, and the curiosity is also. I mean, curiosity is curiosity, but it also drives you to choose to do something, that you
Right.
normally wouldn't do, right?
But God also created them knowing that they had a curiosity and knowing that they had free will, knowing that a tree is there, so knowing that they would eat from the tree, knowing that they would
But if
be
he were to
condemned.
intervene in the situation, then that
Mhm.
wouldn't be giving them free will,
Yeah.
because
It's
he
bad
has
parenting.
now either put bad parenting. Yeah, I guess you could term it
I'm
as
just
that.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But it's as if he put a fence up.
Mhm.
Like you're saying, right?
Mhm.
He told them to not do it.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
But curiosity got the best of them,
Mhm.
and so that being the case, they chose to eat from the tree that he basically told them not to. Now telling them to do something or not, isn't really, it's more along the lines of giving them a guideline to follow, to do, but not actually fully telling them they can't do that.
Right.
He put it, the tree was there for one, it was on earth, and, Lucifer was cast out of heaven. And so now he's going to try to do anything he can. So being in the area and being that he can affect another being near him, he took that spot, that chance, and was going to use it. And so that's what he did. And Eve was the more curious one out of the two of them. And so she was the first person to eat the fruit of the good and bad tree.
Good and evil, yeah.
Good and evil tree, yeah, that one. And then Adam, being that he loved her so much that he went for it as well, because whatever happened to her, he wanted to happen to him because he didn't want to lose her.
Right.
And so God didn't get rid of him or anything like that, but he did punish him, because it's like, you're raised, you do something that someone has said not to do, and you do it. It's not that you don't have the free will to do it, but you have the free will to choose whether you want to do it or not. And parenting, when you're raised, or raising a kid, you have to set guidelines for them.
Right, and there's consequences for choices.
For choices that you've done. So it's that way for everybody, but that's not us saying, it's not us putting a fence up and saying, hey, you can't go there.
Right.
And there's no way I'm not going to allow you to go in there, kind of thing, because that's not giving someone free will. That's
right.
That's choosing for them.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's basically what I was trying to get at, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I don't think I have any more questions, and we're at like 51 minutes. So
there we go.
I think that's a sufficient video. So, yeah.
But awesome. I enjoyed being on here with you guys. Definitely should do it some other time.
Yeah, definitely.
This is an area that I can kind of improvise when talking.
That's also a reason why I chose it.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll get you more comfortable in the camera.
That's
he's
good.
He's trying to make a YouTube channel and needs to be comfortable talking on the camera. So
I gave it a shot yesterday night, and let's just say it didn't go so well.
It's practice. Mine was terrible at first too. So
yeah, if you haven't tried it out for yourselves, you'll get the grasp of it.
Yeah,
but no, definitely it's really difficult. And being that I want to start up a YouTube channel of my own, I don't know what topic I'm going to be on. It's probably going to be more on the photography side of things. But no, I've totally enjoyed being on here. It's fun. But it's also given me practice with you guys, which is, I thank you guys for that. But,
yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to seek your truth and then take time for yourself. And I will catch you in my future videos. Bye for now.